the Defense Department seems to have lost track of a hefty sum, over $1 billion in military gear given to Ukraine. We're talking serious stuff like missiles and night vision goggles.
It's a tricky time for this news to come out, just when the Biden administration is running low on funds for Ukraine and asking Congress for more.
Although there's no proof that any of the aid was misused, the report couldn't confirm that it all went to the front lines either.
Pentagon and State Department bigwigs are still pretty confident that the support isn't being stolen, but they admit tracking in a war zone isn't easy.
This report isn't just about a few items. It's about a huge chunk, more than half, of specially tracked military aid that wasn't accounted for properly.
Some of the gear, like radios and goggles, could easily be smuggled and sold off, and then there are the missiles, always a hot item on the black market.
Turns out, a lot of the weapons weren't even logged in the Pentagon's database as they were handed over to Ukraine.
The early months of the war, with the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv evacuated, meant there was no one from the U.S. to do the tracking.
Ukraine did provide written receipts for the equipment, and there's been some progress with a new barcode system for tracking.
Still, a lot of the high-priority gear is rushed to the front lines so fast, it's hard to keep tabs on it.
There was no policy for tracking all this in a war zone until the end of last year. And even then, enforcing it was a challenge.
Senior officials argue that while real-time tracking is tough, they have methods to make sure Ukraine is using the aid as intended.
Despite the lack of full accounting, U.S. officials believe Ukraine is sticking to the rules about how to use and secure the military aid.
This whole situation might make it tougher for Ukraine to get more aid, especially with waning interest in the U.S. and political debates.
Some Republicans in Congress are tying their support for more Ukraine aid to changes in U.S. immigration policy.
While many Republicans are okay with how things have been handled, this report could change some minds.
A top Republican on the Armed Services Committee is already raising eyebrows over the unaccounted weaponry.
There's concern that without transparency, trust in how the aid is managed could erode.
One senator, a critic of Ukraine aid, finds the report alarming and a sign of inadequate oversight.
The fear is that this could turn into a situation like Afghanistan or Vietnam, where money and resources get lost in the chaos.